Chapter 21. Of the felicitous birth of the Most Holy Mary our Mistress, of the favors which she then received from the hand of the Most High, and how a name was given her in heaven and on earth. The day destined for the parturition of Saint Anne and for the birth of her who was consecrated and sanctified to be the Mother of God had arrived, a day most fortunate for the world. This birth happened on the 8th day of September, fully 9 months having elapsed since the conception of the soul of our most holy Queen and Lady. Saint Anne was prepared by an interior voice of the Lord, informing her that the hour of her parturition had come. Full of the joy of the Holy Spirit at this information, she prostrated herself before the Lord and besought the assistance of his grace and his protection for a happy deliverance. Presently, she felt a movement in her womb similar to that which is proper to creatures being born to the light. The most blessed child Mary was at the same time by divine providence and power ravished into a most high ecstasy. Hence, Mary was born into the world without perceiving it by her senses, for their operations and faculties were held in suspense. As she had the use of her reason, she would have perceived it by her senses if they would have been left to operate in their natural manner at that time. However, the Almighty disposed otherwise, in order that the Princess of Heaven might be spared the sensible experience otherwise connected with birth. She was born pure and stainless, beautiful and full of grace, thereby demonstrating that she was free from the law and the tribute of sin. Although she was born substantially like other daughters of Adam, yet her birth was accompanied by such circumstances and conditions of grace that it was the most wonderful and miraculous birth in all creation, and will eternally redound to the praise of her Maker. At 12 o'clock in the night, this divine luminary issued forth, dividing the night of the ancient law and its pristine darknesses from the new day of grace, which now was about to break into dawn. She was clothed, handled, and dressed like other infants, though her soul dwelt in the divinity, and she was treated as an infant, though she excelled all mortals and even all the angels in wisdom. Her mother did not allow her to be touched by other hands than her own, but she herself wrapped her in swaddling clothes, and in this Saint Anne was not hindered by her present state of childbirth, for she was free from the toils and labors which other mothers usually endure in such circumstances. So then Saint Anne received in her arms her who was her daughter, but at the same time the most exquisite treasure of all the universe, inferior only to God and superior to all other creatures. With fervent tears of joy, she offered this treasure to His Majesty, saying interiorly, "Lord of infinite wisdom and power, Creator of all that exists, this fruit of my womb, which I have received of thy bounty, I offer to thee with eternal thanks, for without any merit of mine, thou hast vouchsafed it to me. Dispose thou of the mother and child according to thy most holy will, and look propitiously down upon our lowliness from thy exalted throne. Be thou eternally blessed, because thou hast enriched the world with a creature so pleasing to thy bounty, and because in her thou hast prepared a dwelling place and a tabernacle for the eternal Word. I tender my congratulations to my holy forefathers, and to the holy prophets, and in them to the whole human race, for this sure pledge of redemption which thou hast given them. But how shall I be able worthily to treat her whom thou hast given me as a daughter, I that am unworthy to be her servant? How shall I handle the true ark of the testament? Give me, O my Lord and King, the necessary enlightenment to know thy will and to execute it according to thy pleasure in the service of my daughter. The Lord answered the holy matron interiorly that she was to treat her heavenly child outwardly as mothers treat their daughters, without any demonstration of reverence, but to retain this reverence inwardly, fulfilling the laws of a true mother toward her, and rearing her up with all motherly love and solicitude. All this the happy mother complied with, making use of this permission and her mother's rights, without losing her reverence. She regaled herself with her most holy daughter, embracing and caressing her in the same way as other mothers do with their daughters. But it was always done with a proper reverence and consciousness of the hidden and divine sacrament known only to the mother and daughter. The guardian angels of the sweet child, with others in great multitudes, showed their veneration and worship to Mary as she rested in the arms of her mother. They joined in heavenly music, some of which was audible also to Blessed Anne. The 1,000 angels appointed as guardians of the great Queen offered themselves and dedicated themselves to her service. This was also the first time in which the heavenly mistress saw them in a corporeal form, with their devices and habiliments, as I shall describe in another chapter. And the child asked them to join with her in the praise of the Most High, and to exalt him in her name.